Hi everyone, my name is Jenny and welcome to Verdant Volatility. Those of you who may have watched my channel before might know that I sort of have an affinity for the Poison line by Dior. I've made a couple of videos about that before, mainly because it's been around for a long time. The original Poison I think came out in 1985. It became a line when Tundra Poison came out, which I've never smelled before because it's rare. It got discontinued very soon into its release, so unfortunately I've never gotten a chance to smell that. But anyway, the three that I really love in that line and that I sort of talk about a lot are Hypnotic Poison, the red bottle, the original Poison, which is the purple bottle, and Pure Poison, that white sort of ethereal looking bottle. What I had already had was a couple versions of Hypnotic Poison, so the modern version of that, as well as a vintage like heart-shaped pendant, which is really cute. I'll show that to you in a second. I'd also had a vintage version of the original Poison, that purple bottle. I'd never smelt the new version. I'd only had that vintage version. And I'd also had a vintage version of Pure Poison from 2004, which is when that scent came out. So I'd never smelled the modern versions of either Pure Poison or the original Poison, so I thought I would buy those. And so I've got three things. I bought the modern version of Pure Poison, the modern OG Purple Poison, as well as Hypnotic Poison Eau de Parfum, because I never smelled that before. There's no Eau de Parfum version of Pure and OG. Only Hypnotic has sort of those denominations. I don't know why. I guess it's because it's the most popular. So I guess what I'll do now is stop talking and sort of get into the discrepancies between the changes up in formula over the years, comparing vintage to modern, as well as that Eau de Parfum version with the EDT version of Hypnotic. So on Fragrantica, the original Poison has a lot of notes because it was created in the 80s, and in the 80s, that's just how they did things. For example, Calvin Klein's Obsession, that shit has a ton of notes. But basically what it is because like nowadays on the website, it only lists 3 notes for Hypnotic Poison, for example. I think those 3 notes are like almond, vanilla, and fucking jasmine. But you can smell a lot more than that. Like it smells the same as like what the 80s list of notes would suggest. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. What basically the OG Poison is a plum, tuberose, smoky incense, sort of honey, lots of spices, musky type of scent, the corner Fragrantica, and what people get the strongest. There's a option to toggle what people vote they smell the strongest in perfume. So what I've done is these little test strips that I cut out with paper, I sprayed the perfumes on each and every one a couple days ago. So this is sort of the dry down. I'll give you the dry down first because it's what's most convenient for me, and then I'll sort of give a new spray on it and describe the top. So this is the modern purple original Poison, the modern formulation. What I get the most is the plum. It really just dries down to this warm, sweet, maybe slightly smoky, fruity scent. Like one thing I noticed about a lot of 80s scents is they're a little bit more challenging and less like tutti fruity palatable than today's scents. So this is sort of very palatable, I would say, compared to the original formulation and the dry down, because I'll show you what I mean. Let me smell this and sort of corroborate what I've been thinking. Yeah, like you get a lot more smoke, and even the tuberose in the dry down, like it's a lot, I feel just more complex. And you get spices, you just, oh yeah, it's really rich. It's indolic as well, but not in an overbearing way. If you don't know, indole is sort of like, people associate it with the smell of white florals like jasmine. It's a little bit like pungent smelling, like fucking like spit. I think that's my idea of indole. It's a little bit like that, but not in a too overbearing way. That's what I mean by like it's not overly like watered down and palatable, like how companies make things today. Like in the 80s, things I feel perfume wise were a lot more risky. So I'll give this a little fresh spray. This is the modern original Poison. Okay, it kind of like, it didn't really spray, it kind of spat, but I think that'll suffice. So what I can smell on the top of the modern version of Poison is sort of more spices. I forget the names of like the specific spices that are in it, but I think one of them is coriander, I'm pretty sure. I'm not looking at the list right now, I'm looking at a picture. I do get honey as well. It kind of smells specifically honey-ish, like this distinct smell of honey. Definitely the plum is the strongest, so people are right about that, and Fragrantica. Yeah, it is a pleasant scent. Still a little bit challenging, especially with the trends of today, the standards of today, where everybody loves smelling like a vanilla cupcake. This is a little more gothic in comparison to that. But just wait till I describe that 90s version smells like in the top. So how this works is this little dabber. I'm really trying not to spill it. Yeah, so it kind of comes off like that. I'm gonna do this like kind of off camera. Just like the tiniest amount because I don't want to waste my precious juice. I can tell with the modern version, the word that comes to my mind is it's more synthetic. Like it's less of like a rotted, sort of like really dried up, jammy plum. It's more like a fresh, like, you know those like markers that are supposed to smell like fruits that we all had when we were kids? It smells like fucking tutti frutti like that. I don't know how else I can describe it. Whereas the original, first of all, it's way more smoky, incensey. Well, not way more, it's like noticeably more. And it's more musky, like basement musky. I don't want to say animalic musky. Maybe it's because, I mean, it's just older and it's had more time to like sit around. I don't know if that is a factor or not, but it's almost as if the new version is happier and brighter, ever so slightly. It's not a happy and bright scent at all. It's very dark and deep. That's just the nature of the scent profile. Since I'm describing the differentials, that's what's coming to mind. I think also the tuberose comes through sharper and stronger in the original. It's more heady, I guess. So that's the difference I get with the original Purple Poison. The modern version is less smoky. You notice the tuberose a little bit less distinctly and sharply, and also the nature of that plum note is a little bit fresher in the original version, a lot less like rotted and sort of like gross and like jammy, I guess, like distilled. But I like that fact better, symbolically and thematically, if you've watched like my realgar stars videos and I my analysis shit and everything. But anyways, let's move on. I think next what I'm gonna do is Pure Poison. I guess what I'll also do is splice in what the actual new bottle looks like as compared to the old bottle, because one thing that did change was the cap became a dark purple. Also the shape of every bottle of Poison in the Poison line. The old ones have a slightly different shape. I feel like it's more fat and circular, I would say. I really just do love this scent a lot. It's almost nostalgic in a way. Something tells me, and I don't have any proof, I don't have any like fucking empirical evidence and shit to prove this, but I feel like a lot of perfumes in the 2000s were sort of, had a specific characteristic about them where it's just like clean laundry, white floral, but in a very well-rounded, full-bodied way. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not sharp and aldehydic and abrasive like a lot of clean scents are. Like you think of today, like when you walk in an Ulta and spray fucking Miss Dior or something, it doesn't smell anything like that. It's a lot more rich, if that makes sense. And I feel like that it's just not paralleled in a lot of modern perfumes. I remember like either my aunt or my mom wearing something like this when I was really little that smelled similar for some reason. So since I was smelling that old bottle, I'll give you the old one first. So this is the old 2004. Is it 2004 or is it 2006? I fucking don't remember. I think it was 2004. It's almost warm. It's so rich. I want to say warm, even though when we think of warm nowadays, we think of gourmands, we think of vanilla, we think of smokiness. It's a warm, white floral, clean laundry scent, which makes no damn sense. I often say I don't like aldehydes because it's too uninviting. It's not, it's very, it's sterile in a way that I don't like. How to make sense? Like, for example, 1111 by Lake and Sky, I don't like that scent very much. But this still maintains a sort of human personability while being that sort of profile, the white floral laundry scent. So I love this a lot. Jasmine, gardenia, orange blossom, sandalwood, mandarin, a little bit of amber, a little bit of bergamot, I guess a little bit of cedar in the base, which I don't really specifically get, and musk. It is kind of musky. I guess another reason why I love that scent so much is because gardenia is my favorite, one of my favorite notes, definitely my favorite floral. I mean, white florals are my favorite category of floral, I would say. If I had to pick a category of florals, like, you know, they say yellow florals, white florals, fucking purple florals is like iris and violet that smell powdery. But anyways, let's smell the new one and I'll give you sort of the differentials between those two. Let's compare these dry downs real quick. Yeah, more synthetic for sure. I wonder if just because perfume companies don't make their concoction lists public, which for obvious reasons, because perfume's an art form. I'm not noticing much of a difference in the dry down actually. I mean, I'm not saying like syntheticness is a bad thing in perfumery. I know a lot of banned ingredients, like specifically animal products, have become, like, people have started to use synthetic alternatives either for environmental purposes or for ethical purposes. So I'm not saying synthetic ingredients are a bad thing. It's just that when comparing it to the original, it's obviously not going to smell the same, and people naturally have a mindset of the old is better because of nostalgic reasons. But let's spray them again. Sharp. Let's get a spray of the old one on that. If I had to put this into words, I would say that in the old one, the mandarin and the citrus notes smell a lot more like actual citrus essential oil, which I think may be contributing to the lack of that sharpness I was describing. So I have this perfume chemical called Ozofleur. I did a whole video about aroma chemicals if you want to watch that. And it's reminding me of that. It smells like a synthetic molecule to me, this new one. It's almost green. The florals are just more delicious. Florals and citrus, I feel like in this one have melded together into this general just like sharp molecule in new perfumes, whereas in this you can tell apart, okay, there's a floral in this and there's a juicy mandarin orange or bergamot in this, whereas in this it's like, oh, just sharp perfume note. All I'm saying is that I just think the old one smells better. There's upsides and downsides to using natural ingredients for everything, you know, like I described a second ago. According to Google AI, synthetic, this is exactly what I was suspecting. Synthetic ingredients are more able to sort of fine-tune and control them and aren't really impacted by factors like harvest time. If you're harvesting, for example, jasmine flowers, that might change how the flower smells and it might have unwanted side effects, you know. Also, often synthetic ingredients can last longer, even though these perfumes don't last longer, even though they're synthetic or whatever. The thing with like Latafa, that's how a lot of Arab perfumes last so goddamn long, are like beast mode, because it's just a synthetic bomb of nightmare chemicals. Formulators are taking advantage of that, and honestly, I don't have any opinions about that at all. It's just the way things are. Last but definitely not least, we're going to talk about hypnotic poison, the old, the new, and the EDP, as opposed to the EDTs. This is my favorite, not just because it's the most popular, but because I just relate to her. To me, I made a video kind of explaining this, but like, I think it was called like, what perfume in the flanker collection are you and why? I did sort of analyses on sort of what the perfumes represent, what sort of persona they embody, and I just relate to her persona the most. To me, the Poisons are just sisters. This Hypnotic is the classy, I don't know how to put it into words, it's just a vibe. Like, she's got a very choleric temperament. She doesn't show like her emotions on the surface. She's more very good at putting up a facade and deceiving people. But deep down, she's like kind of overbearing, like I guess carnal and like desire-based. OG Poison is just completely uninhibited. She's, I think of like a tiger or a black like panther, like the original commercials for that perfume had. Very uninhibited, like you kind of just, what you see is what you get sort of thing. She kills you very brutally, whereas Hypnotic will kill you by lulling you to sleep, like a hypnosis, basically. And then Pure Poison is, I think of the theme of innocence and the inner child. She sort of had like a rough life, but is still sort of a pure, bright soul. And you can sort of see it in her eyes that she's like very sensitive. She's gone through some pain spiritually, but she doesn't let that dim her light. Like, look how ethereal she looks. If you're unaware though, the profile of Hypnotic Poison, EDT or EDP, is much more gourmand. It was one of the first gourmands to ever become popular. Yeah, Hypnotic Poison consists of vanilla, almond, so it sort of has like sort of cherry facets to it. Some people describe it as cough syrupy. And also jasmine, which I get pretty strongly. On Fragrantica, it's not prominent notes, you know what I'm trying to say. There's also coconut in it, sandalwood, a little bit of like that like plumness, like there's apricot as well. Some woods, some musk, but yeah, that's what it is. Mainly a gourmand, floral scent profile. What I'm smelling right now is the new EDT, so that this big bottle I have right here looks like that. The scent strip is smelling very floral. It's also powdery. Not sure where the powder comes from. I've watched videos on this before. People describe the new version as powdery as compared to the other one, and I do get that, probably from the musk or something like that, but I think it's very pleasant. Don't prefer one over the other, the new versus the old EDT. I was honest about, you know, like the syntheticness of Pure Poison and Original Poison made it smell not as good, but I really don't notice that being the case with Hypnotic Poison. I don't care. Like, I don't care that people think Hypnotic smells worse nowadays. Like, I don't agree. I don't think it smells any worse, really. This is what my old formulation of Hypnotic Poison looks like. It's a heart-shaped pendant. It was in a set of 3, like a gift set in the 90s, with like J'adore and like Miss Dior or something like that. I forget exactly what, but I think it was a set of 3, something like that. And little pendants that look like this, and it's just like a rare find. I feel pretty lucky about this. The 90s scent is more sheer. It's much less like a cotton ball filling in your nose and more like a very slow sort of olfactory sensation. Like you have to take a deep breath in order to smell much of anything, but when you do, it's more it's like creamier, and it's also fruitier, more bitter almond. I want to say slightly woodier as well, but they smell very similar. Like these are just very slight differences, and honestly that's the case with Pure and OG Poison too. Like those differences were very minute. When I first got in that little pendant, I was dabbing it on myself. I'm like, why don't I smell anything? Because I was like shoving it in my nose. But the key is like it needs time, it needs like warmth, and it needs like a deep breath. And it lasts much longer than the new version, I will say so. Now, the EDP is its own can of worms, really. It's not attributed, the same notes aren't attributed to it. It's still floral, and it's still vanilla and almond, but it's also got licorice and tonka. And there's no fruits listed, but I still get those fruits. I still get like the apricot and everything like that. But what I notice is it's just deeper and more spicy from that licorice. And I would say less floral as well. Let's get some proper spritzes on these, and because I'm just describing the dry down to you. Alright, so just sprayed all 3 of them, or dabbed in the case of the dabber, those 3. And what I'm noticing is sort of a rubber tire syntheticness from the new EDT version. But again, this is very minute, nitpicky details. It's not like you spray and it's like, ugh, rubber tire. Like, just in comparison with the other, with the 90s version, it does smell more like a rubber tire. And there is sort of a root, like a licorice-iness to it. Even though this is the EDT version and it doesn't list licorice as a note, it's still there. It's just not like in the sense of like a spicy licorice. Like it's not in the front, it's more like subdued in the back in the EDT version. And people describe it as smelling like Play-Doh. I don't mind that. It smells nostalgic to me almost. You know, they say like rubber doll's head, vanilla scented doll hair type shit. And the florals are there to me. Now let's smell the 90s version. It's still kind of drying down, so the fruits are more prominent for sure, even in the top. I find Hypnotic doesn't really change that much as it dries down. Maybe sort of the florals go away slightly in the new EDT version. Hold on, this is still smelling like alcohol. Let's come back to that and smell the EDP. Yeah, same deal. You can smell the florals a little bit more strongly in the top. Those being jasmine and I think tuberose in there, or is it orange blossom? I don't know. I think it was orange blossom in the EDP. I feel like if you prefer a more, the fruits are weirdly stronger in the EDP than in the EDT modern version, even though there's no fruit note listed at all in the EDP. If you want like sort of a more intense, like passionate version of the EDT version, go with the EDP. And you don't mind a licorice note, like I would try it out obviously first. It's really not that off-putting at all. Like I'd say it's about as challenging as the original Poison, even the new synthetic version, really. Let's smell this 90s one. It's still softer than the EDP version, but it's very creamy as compared to the new. I don't understand why people say they prefer this much over the new EDT. Like, they smell very similar to me, besides the fact that it's slightly more fruity, the old one, and slightly more creamy. And you have to take longer breaths, and it's like slightly more long-lasting. But all in all, when it comes to Hypnotic Poison, I mean, like, they're all special in their own ways. The 90s version, you can't really smell up, like, just by putting it in your nose, but like, I do like the fact that like it's gotta heat up a little bit on your body and like it lingers really far. I like the new EDT because it's got that really nice doll head sort of powderiness to it. I think that's really special. And the EDP is really spicy. It's still got the same, you can tell it's definitely Hypnotic Poison, just like a spicy twist on it, a licoricey twist on it. It's not that challenging at all. But I will say it's more fruity. Like, you can definitely tell it's got a fruitiness to it. It's sort of the same fruitiness as in, if you've ever smelled Flower Bomb Nectar, as compared to the original Flower Bomb. It's sort of sticky fruity, as opposed to fresh fruit. You know what I'm trying to say? Sort of jammy. It's more jammy, I would say. But with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed my analysis and comparisons of formulations of these three Poison perfumes: Hypnotic Poison, Original Purple Poison, and Pure Poison. If you did, subscribe to me, do all that stuff. Keep being you and stay proud of yourself. Bye.